topic today is, I think it's a Yisayistic Indian, although I can't say I'll give you a full clarity in it. But the Rambam writes that someone that's not Mechaka L'Bias HaMashiach is a Kafir. And it's a big question that everyone has, trying to understand. The Rambam writes, Moshiach will come, will bring back he'll bring the gathering the exiles, will build the Beis HaMikdash, all the mitzvahs will return as in former times. And he says, someone doesn't believe in Mashiach or doesn't await his coming, not only he's denying the Nevi'im, but also Torah Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Rambam brings three proofs that the Torah already prophesied, already told us the Mashiach is coming. The question that right away people have is that somebody doesn't believe in Mashiach. Fine, we understand that he's a kafir, he denies he's a heretic. Why, if someone doesn't anticipate Mashiach, is he a kafir?
You mean?
Yeah.
What's anticipate?
Yeah, that's a separate discussion. It's also part of the discussion. Furthermore, the proofs that the Rambam brings, all the proofs that he brings is about that Mashiach will come. He doesn't bring one proof that you have to anticipate this coming. So if the Rambam is trying all the three proofs, he brings a proof from the Parshas Nitzavim, that the return of the exiles. He brings a proof of Parshas Bilam, how Bilam prophesies about Mashiach, the things Mashiach will do. He brings a proof of Vari Miklat, that it's all become even greater than before. He doesn't bring one pasuk even that says you have to anticipate Mashiach. It doesn't bring the pasuk, which is seemingly the source of the Ram, the pasuk in Chavakuk, if he, how did they say, if he tarries, never, you should await his coming every day. So, I don't want to get confusing over here. There's a number of points here. There's a number of approaches that people try to give, and I'll try to discuss them. And I think there's a certain gang I'll try to explain. I think has to also be understanding that there's a number of layers here that have to be discussed. First of all, there is a Yechidus that Rabbi had in Tavshim Tes with Mordechai Liyan, Avram Shapiro, then the chief rabbis of Eretz Yisrael. And this question was mentioned by Rabbi Shapiro. And the answer that he gave was a very simple, straightforward answer. He said that if somebody doesn't anticipate Mashiach, is it right that he doesn't believe in Mashiach? Since Mashiach will be the ultimate good,
that's what
that
the
it could
said.
be. No, the Rabbi didn't say this. He was saying it to the Rebbe. It's printed in the Mugadik thing. The Rebbe edited it, but it wasn't the Rebbe's answer. So he said that if somebody believes in Mashiach, so Mashiach is the ultimate good, physically, spiritually, so why wouldn't you want to anticipate this coming? So if you don't anticipate this coming, is it right that you don't believe in it? Now, it's a very good pshat. I mean, it's a very simple pshat, straightforward pshat. There's a number of difficulties with this. First of all, from the lashon of the Rambam is mashma. The Rambam is talking about two things. He's saying you don't believe or you don't anticipate. According to the way he's learning, anticipating is just the Evan HaBoichin, as a way of discerning if you really believe or not. If somebody doesn't anticipate, in other words, if someone doesn't anticipate, the problem is not that he's not anticipating. The problem is that he doesn't believe. The Rambam seems to be saying that there's two types of people. There's one person that believes, and there's one person that believes, but he doesn't anticipate. According to the way he's saying, it's just Evan HaBoichin. If you don't anticipate it, I don't believe. It's really one thing I was saying, and why is the Rambam pointing that out? The Rambam is not trying to give you Evan HaBoichin, trying to give you ways how you should discern if somebody believes or not.
It's the barometer of the Amunah. Otherwise, the Amunah is not there.
You're saying a different word. And I'll get to that in 1 second. So therefore, what he says is a very true thing, is a very nice thing, but it's a lot of people question. It's not the straightforward pshat in the Rambam. It's a true word in Inyan, as we'll soon see, as understood. In other words, every answer that will be given has a truth to it. But if that's the meaning of the words of the Rambam,
doesn't mashma from Divrei Rambam since it breaks it for two.
Yeah. There is another word which people try to give based on the Rebbe's Sikha. The Rebbe says, the Rebbe discussed this Rambam a number of times. The Rebbe never directly addressed this question though, but the Rebbe once said in the Sikha that the Rambam is trying to, the words of the Rambam, that it's not enough to believe in Mashiach, but you also have to anticipate his coming. The Rebbe interpreted in the context that it's not enough. We know the Chassidus discusses many times that a person could believe in the Eifa Makif in transcending ways. A famous example the Chassidus brings of a thief that's about to break into someone's house, and he's asking Hashem to help him out. So he believes in the Eibishter. Well, the biggest proof is he's doubting the Eibishter for success. But if you believe in the Eibishter told you not to steal. So the answer is that his belief is there, but it doesn't penetrate into his inner, into his conduct, into his, yeah.
It means if he has children, so he feels how can he do it? He needs money for it.
Yeah. So the Rebbe says that it's not enough to just believe in Mashiach, but it has to permeate your belief that you should be mechakel b'yas, you should await his coming. Now, the word again is the Rebbe's a word. The question, but this word doesn't seem to me to answer why, if someone doesn't anticipate his being, he's a kafir. In other words, in the case where you have a ganva pum machtar rachmon akai, let's say going back to the example I just gave, a thief is about to break into someone's house and he's down with the Eibishter to help him. Would you call such a person a kafir? Yeah? Chassidus is not calling him a kafir.
Yeah, because
why is he a kafir? Is he halachically a kafir? Talking about the Rambam writes is the getter of a kafir, that someone that doesn't believe in ikrei hadas, someone doesn't believe in fundamentals of Judaism, there's certain halachas. I don't want to repeat.
He's not a kafir because he's not mechaker. He's a kafir because he's a kafir. But the raya, he's not a maimin. He's a kafir.
You're saying the first word that Avraham Shapiro said.
No, but the Rebbe, the word over here is the Rambam is 1 point. It's not pshat is that there's 2 points. 1 point is mechakale. Another point is maimin bari. No, there isn't. If you are really you believe that Mashiach is coming, there's no.
So what is the Rambam trying? What you're saying is true. What you're saying is true. The question is, what is the Rambam trying to tell me? The Rambam trying to tell me that my belief has to be so strong that I should anticipate his coming? Is that what the Rambam is trying to say?
The Rambam is saying that if it's not that way, there isn't a munah in the Teres and the Teres said.
So
with the Maisi.
That would make it one thing.
Yeah. Something like that.
Oh, it says
he is a kafir. But when he says ve'enoi,
he's saying we have a Rambam here.
It means the level of the munah. Why not? If it is oi, it's a different thing.
I'm not saying oi versus vav.
He's saying oi.
It's both vav and both of them.
No, if he says oi she'einu mechakeh lebiyasei, then mechakeh is a separate thing. But if vav, that means one thing. But the point is,
but there's another way. There's a better way to combine them. To leave out the second enoi. Misha einu mamin boy umechakeh lebiyasei. A person who's not mamin and mechakeh. Then,
so again, I'm not I would say like this. I put some thought into it. I'm not saying that you can't learn that way, but on the other hand, the lashon of the Rambam is like this. The Rambam writes, the Rambam, or someone doesn't anticipate his coming. Yes, he's clearly separating them into two separate things. So, the word that like I mentioned, the Rebbe uses based on the Rambam. The Rebbe says in one of the sikhs that it's not enough you just believe makif; it has to penetrate you in a way that so much so that you should actually anticipate his coming. The question, however, that the Rebbe doesn't clearly say that this is why he's a kafir. That if he doesn't have this, if the question that people have, I'll explain to you another issue here. What people are bothered with. A lot of people, we all believe in Moshiach. Yeah, are we all mechakel b'yasei? When things aren't going so great, we're mechakel b'yasei. First time sitting there, face was learning davening. Are we mechakel b'yasei left dafka? So, ich mein, Tiffen Herz and yet is Mechakel of Yossi. I'm saying, oh, Mechakel of Yossi, like that Rebbe writes in Tanya, that the Behergish Halev, that is Piskalus, sleep is revealed in your heart. No, so the question is, the Rebbe's, so the question is, what is the parameter here? What does the Rambam mean when he says you have to be Mechakel of Yossi? The Rambam trying to say that if a Jew is not sitting there crying that we're still in Golus, he can't sleep, if he's not on the level that he can't sleep because Mashiach didn't come with his Zirkind, is that what the Rambam is saying? It's hard to say that because so you understand what I'm saying? So in other words, so what's the parameter? The parameter is they have to believe in. It's not enough to believe. You have to have some hergishis. What exactly is the question? Is not only why mechakel biyos is not a kafir, but the question really evolves around what does it mean to be mechakel biyos.
It seems. I'm not knowing what to think about it, but it seems like the Rambam is saying two things over here. That the greater level is Amunah, and the lesser level is Mechake. The Amunah means really Amunah. At least Mechake. Act like you're waiting for it to come.
But if so, there would have to be a halachic definition of what you should do to show that being Mechake. There will have to be something. Was tut man das Mechake l'biyosei? But anyway. I told you, every answer they'll say I think there's a kernel of truth, but I don't think it gives the full picture. There's another nekuda here. This other answer, which is a very straightforward answer, but it's still missing a point. The other answer is that if you look in the Rambam, Pirush and Mishnayos to the Rambam, Pirush and Mishnayos to the Rambam is written in Arabic, and the original was written in Arabic and it's printed in the Pirush. There's a number of translations. There's a famous translation.
Yad HaChazaka wasn't written original with
Yad HaChazaka was written in Lashon HaKodesh. Pirush HaMishnah is written in Arabic. So Pirush HaMishnah is originally written in Arabic. It was translated. There's the translation. There's a number of translations. The most famous one was printed in the back. It's printed in the back of the Gemara Masechah Sanhedrin and so on. And we have also, it's now there, Rabbi Kapach, all of Sholom made a renewed translation. And lately there was a Machan Hamor, there's another translation made. There's many differences between the way they translate and Rabbi Kapach translate.
Pirush HaMishnayos.
There's other translations as well that are coming out lately, different. But the Rambam will start when he describes the Yisod Shnei Moshe, the 12th principle that a Jew has to believe, which is the belief in Mashiach. He says, you have to believe, and it says, they translated, you should believe truly that he should come.
Why you say 12? I don't know.
The 12th one is about Mashiach. It was 13. The 12th one, you say that Yud Beis. The 12th one is about Mashiach. You say that Yud Beis. So he writes, that he will come. And the Rambam adds, now there's a number of translations here. Time won't allow me probably to get into the nuances of different translations here. The Rambam says you should not think that he will be delayed. And the Rambam, some translate that don't say he was delayed, which is a very different, but I think essentially it's all coming from the same nekuda. And then the Rambam goes on to explain that this is why the Chachamim were very against people that made kitzim, that made set times for Mashiach. Because people would say that if the set time didn't come, he's not coming anymore. Now, the Rambam is explained by a number of, there's a few Sfarim that explain the Rambam, or maybe there's one, but basically it comes out as like this. The Rambam is trying to tell you, I don't have time not to quote each sefer, but just one mahalach, I'll give you the words of the Rambam. The Rambam is trying to tell you, the Zayita believes in Mashiach. Eglet Mashiach was told as a kid, Eglet Mashiach, he's waiting for Mashiach to come. He grows older, 1 year went by, another year went by, one case went by, another case went by, he gives up. He gives up. He thinks, he believed in Mashiach, but he sees, and Sholom in Golus, he gives up. So Mamela, such a person, to say that he doesn't believe in Mashiach, be'etzem, he doesn't believe in Mashiach, he doesn't believe, he believed, he wanted it to happen. But you know what, he doesn't know wait is coming anymore. He doesn't think realistically, it's taken so long, that he's not mechakel b'yosei. The way the Chafetz Chaim, he writes, he gives up, he's misyosh. and you actually have in the pasuk, which is the chayre the makar of the divrei Ram, the pasuk Chavakuk, im yismamei chakel lekivo yovi v'lo yacher. So you have over there, I think the Radak, one of them, he teaches it is clearly also in this oifen, that you don't give up if it's taking too long. According to this mahalach, is very geschmack. According to this mahalach, what the Rambam is basically saying, there's two types of people. One type of person is there's two types of kafir the says. One type is he doesn't believe. And according to one that Ma'am Hill said Moshiach Yisrael, because that was very different. Yeah, but it's like the Rabbi says, the Mashal, he believes in Moshiach, and you don't have to take it. Then there's someone that he believes, but he gave up. And that's why this also explains why the Rambam he uses the lashon mechaka. What it does mean here to be mechaka? Mechaka means to wait. Mechaka is a feeling. The question that everyone is bothered with the Rambam, where do you find that if not having a feeling makes you a kafir? We find the Rambam doesn't write anywhere, even though again you could argue. I'm not saying the question is necessarily a question. I could argue the other way around also if I wanted to. But you can't prove anywhere that if you believe in something but you don't feel it, or even if you don't act upon it, that you're a kafir. Rambam, when in the end of the Yud Gimel Ikrim, after describing the 13 principles of faith, he says that someone that believes in these things, even though he might do Avedas, because the Yetzer Hara gets the better of him, so he's still considered, he doesn't have the halach of someone that denies the 13 principles of faith. So it means you could believe in the Eibishter. It comes to it, the Eibishter said not to do it, you can't control it, whatever it is, Yitzra Yonse, whatever it might be, but he's not a kafir. He's not considered a heretic. So over here, the Rambam doesn't mean that if you're not sitting to the shrine, according to this mahalach comes out, it doesn't mean if you're not sitting to the shrine at Moshe Bista Kafir. It means, in other words, there's a part of Emunah that as faith, and then there's a part of the Emunah that it's dependent on your feeling. Because the fact that it's taking so long for Mashiach to come is something that affects your feeling. Intellectually, you can't change a pshat in the pasuk, but you give up. Can use
the expression to make a shenishbu. Ich meine, nicht to make a shenishbu, aber die was gesehen, Elokus begolo, junge so die Sachen. You're waiting for it, but die was käme nicht gesehen und gar nicht und telling me. I don't know, maybe
that has an impact on the person. So Chassid Tzelem as Zalmeshe, gesagt noch Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur hat gesagt, weiß, was Gezi werden in Meile. Was Gezi gewinnen in Meile, als Zalmeshe bleibt mal ein Mann und Schmuel gereizt an Agwin. Weiß das. Wann weiß das? Weil gesehen, Mächten, die haben gesagt, Sache Geld in Bank und nicht gar Geld in Bank. Wann weißt du das sicher? Ich dachte, das ist ein Käfer, ich bleibe nicht an dem,
Now, this is again, to me it's a layer. I don't think, because in other words, I think it's a very geschmack mahalach, but in a certain sense, the problem, the chisaron, I think that in a certain sense, the answer is really a combination of everything together, because everything adds a certain point to it. But the problem with this mahalach is that it's not telling me, it's telling me that I shouldn't give up. It's not discussing a proactive feeling of anticipation. Just saying, in other words, ki'ilu noimar. In other words, I'll explain it this way. What I just said is taking for granted that you're anticipating him. It just that it could be your anticipation reached the point where it's not going to, or you never, or it could sometimes there's someone who just looked at Jewish history and he says it's not going to happen. He never lechatchila wanted it. But even if you're going to say someone he pushed it, at a gegleit in them, then he sees it's not happening, he gives up.
I don't know exactly the it's that's like a real, now who am I to pass? That could be a real kefer. It goes around, as even be Lubavitch, Moshiach is coming. Die heckte Propaganda wird verkehrt. Keine Jäger, die Neikische nicht. We're not going to go into that, but that's good.
Fine. Anyway, but the problem with this thing is, in other words, it's dealing with someone that's giving up. It's not telling me why I should be mechakel biyasa, why I should actually anticipate this coming. So there's another point here. The point, which is really what I wanted to say before, but this came first. The point, this is the way I'm going to say now is the way the Mabit explained. It explains a very geschmack, but there's another. Even what he says needs another nekuda here. Mabit explains it like this. He says, he's not. You see, the thing is, you see here that everyone takes for granted that you're anticipating is coming. Like Al Derech, the first word that I mentioned, Rabbi Avram Shapiro, if you believe, you would anticipate. The only thing is, what does it mean? Eini mechaka l'biyasi. So he says, there's certain people that will say, you know what, I don't believe you could come now. Maybe in 20 years from now, but right now, please, this is going on over here, this is going on over there.
It's a cold weather.
Yeah.
I made an investment yesterday. Wait a second, let me get my returns. Then we'll deal with it.
Chrednish, he doesn't want Mashiach. He's afraid of Mashiach. I'm discussing that he's saying, he looks at the world, he says, Mashiach, I remember, when the years, Lord, Licht Gan Eden, he was a Holocaust survivor. He said, Mashiach can nicht kommen in unsere Deires. In other words, you know, such a great thing, whatever it is, or there's so many, there needs to be, it's going to be such a major upheaval in the world, to look at the world, man, you don't see it happening. So he said, it's going to happen then. So such a person, he's not, what does it mean he's not mechaka l'biyasa? So what's the problem with that? The problem with that is, because he's saying he can't come now. So he says, what's the problem if you say he can't come now? The problem with that is, if you don't believe he could come now, it probably means you don't believe he could come 20, 30 years either. Because, in other words, let's go into the psychology. Like, whatever, my father, Sholom, whenever he used to tell him tomorrow, he used to say, I'll do something tomorrow. He said, you mean to say I'm not going to do it now?
Not today.
Doesn't mean you're planning on doing it tomorrow. Just means not now. Yeah. So in other words, let's understand the psychology of this person. He believes in Moshiach, but he looks practically at the world, he can't see it. So he's not ready to tell himself it's never going to happen, but he's basically telling himself that for Mashiach to come, something major has happened. He doesn't see right now in the world these things happening, so it can't happen now. When will it happen? He says, in his mind, it'll happen later. But that means, why 20, 30 years later anything major should happen? So in other words, it's not realistic for him, so he just pushes it off for later. But it's not, so he's saying, the mashal that I gave, it doesn't say, but he says, if you don't believe it's going to happen Lizman Karev, you don't believe it's going to happen Lizman Rachik either. So according to this interpretation comes out that the two things of the Rambam says over here, that Mishan Imamba and Mishan Imachakal B'Yosai really match. So this is also how he explains the Pirush HaMishnah. The Rambam says, L'yachshiv she'yisakar. What means L'yachshiv she'yisakar? It doesn't mean, again, this is another nekudah which I don't have time to get into. It doesn't say anywhere in halacha that I have to believe Mashiach is coming today. I have to anticipate he's coming today. It doesn't say that Hilu Noiman I could say b'vados Mashiach is coming. That's like giving a case. I have to believe, I have to anticipate that he will come. So what means Lo Yashiv She'yisachar? He says it means I have to believe that it's possible or anticipate he should come today. If I say that he can't come today, if to me it's not realistic to expect him to come today, so then that means that it's not realistic in my eyes it'll come at all. So when the Rambam says Mishin Mechakal B'Yosei doesn't anticipate his coming, according to this way of learning, fits like the way the Mabit explains the Pirush HaMishnah. Said Rambam L'yachshiv she'yisachar, don't think he will delay. In other words, if you think he will delay, means in other words you don't anticipate his coming. It looks like you don't anticipate his coming now, but realistically you don't anticipate his coming. Period. So this is
fully back to the same.
Yeah. So this is another mahalach. According to this mahalach, the only thing I will say is, according to this mahalach, you see here a parallel with the Rambam Pirush HaMishnah, so the Rambam in his Yad HaChazaka, but there's a very big difference. Because in the Yad HaChazaka, the Rambam uses the Lashon Sheni Mechaka. Mechaka, the Rebbe Befrat. That would always emphasize mechaka, anticipating, is a feeling. The Rambam says in Pirush HaMishnah, don't think he will delay, is more a matter, something of faith. In other words, don't believe that he can't come now. It's not necessarily, in other words, according to this way of learning, when the Rambam says you have to be mechakal b'yosei, it doesn't mean you have to have a revealed feeling of anticipation, of want, of desire for him to come. What it means is, it's more a matter of faith. You have to believe that he could come now. Don't believe. It shouldn't be if someone doesn't believe that he could come now, so he's a kafir. But according to this way of learning, mechaka is not even a hegesh. Mechaka, you could argue, doesn't have to be be a hergish. But let's say somebody is waiting for supper to be served, doesn't mean he's waiting. He knows it's going to happen, so he's waiting for it to happen. So it's not such a, again, it could fit with the Rambam, but at the end of the day, the frat way the Rambam emphasized, Mechakel of Yosef, the Rebbe learned is more than that, as an active anticipation. So that is why I will. So when you look at, there's a number of different components, a number of different nekudas here, which each seem to have a certain. Some of them, Efrat, seem to be very compelling in what the Rambam is trying to say. But I think there's one Yesod, could be more, but at least one Yesod that I think of that is important to emphasize. And this is, no one is explaining why I should anticipate that he should come now. They're all taking for granted I should anticipate he should come now. It's just, if I don't believe he could come now, or I gave up hope, or whatever I'm a kafer. But why should I anticipate he should come now? So, years ago, every Jew was a door push anticipated Moshiach. So when Sodas from left, from links, from all
because of the Torahs.
I'm saying, or because you could also say because of the Munah. There was a Yidot Gevot Moshiach, so no one ever sat and why should you have Svarim that say Abladas something, but you shouldn't ask for Moshiach for yourself. You should ask for the Golos Hashchina for that the Eibush should go out of Golos, whatever it might be. But the why. And I think that this is, I don't know if this is Pshat in the Rambam, even if it's not Pshat in the Rambam, I think it's definitely a prerequisite to all the other Pshatim that I mentioned in the Rambam. Belief in Mashiach, when you look at the 13 principles of faith, you could make three categories, I would say. This is my own words now, but I'm just trying to give a context. You could have things, you believe the Eibusher is Mashki, but they take face the first principle of faith. The first, you believe in the Eibusher, believe in Torah and Hashemayim, you believe the Eibusher is watching over everyone, you believe in punishment and reward. You don't believe in something that will happen or won't happen. You believe that this is the way it is. You believe that this is the existence is what the reality is, that there's Eibusher that created the world. He's running the world. He gave the Torah. He's watching everything we do. He's going to give punishment and reward, so on and so forth. When it comes to the 12th principle of faith, all of a sudden I have to believe in something that will happen. Now, there's a 13th principle of faith. And if you make a contrast, we'll see your point here. The 13th principle of faith is belief in Chiyas HaMesim. They're both beliefs in something that have to happen. That will happen. Now, the Rambam doesn't really, what I'm going to say now is not Mus Lashon Rambam, but it's Mus Lashon of Ani Mamin that we say, that people say in the Siddur. When it comes to the 12th principle of faith about Moshiach, he said, I await his coming every day. The way that I've emphasized many times means I'm await that he should come today. When it comes to Chiyas HaMesim, it says, Ani Mamin, I don't know the Lashon by heart, that I believe in Chiyas HaMesim. Whenever the Eibusher will decide it should happen, that's what, there's no mitzvah, at least according to the one who wrote Ani Mamin, that I should anticipate for Chiyas HaMesim. I believe it will happen, the Eibusher will want. The first 11 principles of faith is a belief in a reality. The 13th principle of faith is a belief something will happen. The 12th principle of faith also seems to be a belief in something that will happen. But I'm supposed to believe it will happen now. Why do I have to believe it will happen now? And I think this is the Nakuda. What Torah wants about Moshiach is something, if I could say, the reality of the world needs Moshiach. The reality of the world, of the Yidden, of Torah mitzvahs, demands Mashiach. If I believe in Mashiach, in other words, the reason why Mechak, going back to the beginning of this thing, the reason why waiting for Mashiach is so connected with the essence of belief in Mashiach, is because what am I believing in? I'm believing in someone that will come and give me, let's say somebody works and he believes he's going to get reward for it at the end of the time. The reward that he's going to get at the end of the time has nothing to do with now. Something will happen later. He can live his life now. He believes later it's going to happen. It's not what the belief in Mashiach is all about. The belief in Mashiach is all about is that I understand the reason why part of the whole idea of me believing in Mashiach is that the world the way it is now is not complete. We don't have Torah mitzvahs, the Yidden are suffering in all sides and angles. The world is completely, it needs Mashiach. It's just supposed to happen now. I'm not believing in something that this is the way it is. This is something that will happen. I believe in a reality which is supposed to be now. I mean, this is. If I'm born in the matzah of Elam, so to say, Mashiach. So if I believe, in other words, again, I'm not saying this word is 100% true, but I think it seems to be, so to say, self-understood. If I believe in Mashiach, that belief in Mashiach, if I understand what Mashiach is, that belief means that I believe in something that has to happen. Tchias HaMeisim is not something that has to happen. Maybe she said it will happen. Maybe according to the Rambam Befrat, Tchias HaMeisim, the Rambam says he doesn't even give details because there's not much to give details. It's a spiritual, it's a miraculous thing which the Rambam doesn't explain. There's any reason for it. We don't know. Like at least Pi Nigla. Yeah.
It is a hamster that way. It's amazing how much it's not there.
Yes, I'm saying Tchias HaMeisim nicht a Sach was is Monzich. In Moshiach Mashiach, it's a monzich. It's something, I'm not just believing in something that will happen. I'm believing in something that's supposed to happen. I believe that this is supposed to happen now. That's
very, very big topic.
Huh?
Very big topic.
Yeah.